Awesome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Season 3, Week 4 of Dungeons & Dragons League here at CMSA. How's everyone doing tonight, players?
Woo! I'm Dan.
Have we recovered from last week?
Yeah, to say it's very, very cheerful atmosphere.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. Cool. Okay, before we get started, I already gave the announcements to the players. I'm just going to do a really quick recap for anyone on stream already. We have two quick announcements. The first one being we had an event at the North End scheduled for CMSA eSports had an event planned for the North End on September 6th. It was just an in-person meetup for everyone in the league to come say hi. Unfortunately, that had to be rescheduled. We have rescheduled it to October 4th at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. So if you're free, come hang out, meet other people who play D&D, meet other people throughout CMSA eSports. It's a great opportunity to come say hi, chat. We typically have drink specials, pizza, so come say hi. And then on top of that, okay, that is the dog. Hey. On top of that, let's see. Six Flags is hosting its annual Out in the Park event, which is a queer community night supporting different nonprofit every year. CMSA always gets a group together, and so we are planning on getting a group together or organizing a group together to go to that. That'll be on September 7th. That is still on, so if you're interested, feel free to keep an eye out in the Discord for anyone who's looking to get a group together. We'd love to see you there. Great, I think that's it. Cool. Okay, team. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's see. Noah, would you be interested in giving us a recap of the awful events that happened last week?
So last time we had opened up mid-attack by some slimes, and after successfully backpedaling away from them continuously, and I think we just managed to kite them until they died, so that was actually much easier than we were worried about. Afterwards, we continued on into the dungeon with its chromatic dragon themes. We had discovered the man we were looking for on the poster, Sphearnick, who was hiding behind a sort of barred up, closed off room. He told us that he had come here with a group of kobolds in search of some sort of mysterious thing, that he was not too upfront about what he was trying to do, but he let us know that he came here with those original kobolds. They all got wiped out, and he was just sort of cowering by himself here until we had found him. After making our way into the room where he was, we had found it was filled with four different thematic rooms that each had various traps, and I think they were color themed, possibly based around the colors of the chromatic dragon. So there was one room that was black, that may have done some necrotic damage. We didn't go into that one because it seemed too spooky. There was a blue one that was electricity themed, that we did some cool gymnastics moves to try and throw Eerie to catch the piece of key. Oh, that's right. After interrogating Sphearnick a little more, we found out that he was in search of 4 pieces of a key that would unlock a large door at the end of the hall, and each of the pieces on the key were in one of the rooms. So lined up like that pretty well. We had gone through the other 2 or 3 rooms, which was green and white, possibly. After collecting all of the pieces of the key and dealing with Sphearnick maybe a little heavy-handedly, that we were trying to be like, hey, help us or tell us what you know, and he was very not, so then we just took him out.
Yeah.
I would say it was not a we. Someone tried to just knock him unconscious.
Haven't I suffered enough for my crimes?
That is fair. That is very fair.
But after collecting all the pieces of the key to the red dragon door, so red would have been the last color, we opened up to another room with a glowing red dragon scale on an altar. As I believe we approached it, was the dragonoid undead that attacked us? I guess it was doing necrotic damage, so.
Yeah.
We were attacked by an undead dragonoid monster that was... he said he was the Scalebinder. So he was a Scalebinder from the Circle of the Scale, so we know that there are the cult of the dragon, maybe now called the Circle of the Scale. And he did some very nasty necrotic damage to Eerie, and then did a follow-up nasty crit damage that insta-killed him, I believe. So we are gathered around the corpse of our dear friend Eerie and the glowing red dragon scale on his body.
It is so
And I
sad.
think that's about where we left off.
Yes, that's exactly right. This literally just happened moments ago. Eerie lies at the feet of his companions. What's everyone doing at this point? How are we? I don't think we even had the opportunity to process it, to look at this artifact that Eerie took. What's everyone doing in this moment?
I think Josh is feeling especially like remorseful over the last kind of few interactions he had with Eerie. They did fight over whether or not to spare Spearnick's life, and things got pretty heated. And so the last kind of few things that he said to him were quite mean, and he did shove him a bit. So he's a bit sad that he wasn't able to like repair that relationship before his untimely death.
And I think him would be very shell-shocked. Like, this would be the first time he's seen someone die so suddenly and quickly, just in the heat of battle right in front of him, unable to do anything or help, even with my godly cleric powers. So I think he would be like almost at a loss that, like, oh, I gotta reach out and do. Oh, it's too late. There's nothing to be done. He's already gone.
Yeah, I think that Bug is also sort of shell-shocked, not because he's so surprised to see such a quick death right in front of him, but just because this is the only person who he's been forming a bond with over the last few months after already having his life sort of torn apart prior to that, and to watch him die right in front of him in battle is I think he's just sort of like brain empty, like eyes wide, staring at Eerie's corpse.
You take a couple minutes to do what you can to just try to, in some way, process what just happened. And there's no way to do so in that amount of time. But you all know that you can't stay down here. Someone's waiting for you. But even beyond that, there are likely more dangers that will appear down here if you decide to stay. So you gather up your gear, and what are you all gonna do about this relic that Eerie holds?
I think Josh kind of just doesn't want to look at it anymore, so he takes it and like shoves it in his bag with all the other stuff that they collected. And I think he wants to take the key as well.
Cool. You pack up the relic, which, as you know, is some sort of artifact. I'm sorry, some sort of dragon scale. And you, I don't know. What do you do with Eerie? I don't want to speak for the group.
I think
Well,
that
we definitely we wouldn't leave him there for sure.
yeah, I think that Bug is gonna pick him up and sort of like fireman carry him as gently as possible and try to get out of this goddamn cave. That's my feeling.
All right, you start, you gently pick up Eerie, Bug, and you start making your way out of this temple. And as you walk past Spearnick's body, you see that there appears to be something that you had missed the initial time you tried looking at his belongings. You see that there is some sort of journal on his body.
I'll grab a journal.
You pick it up. You just try to skim it a little bit, and it's generally it generally reflects kind of what you have discerned from his what he had told you before you killed him. But having it on paper just kind of confirms that what he was saying was true, and it basically recites that the plan, this whole plan, was to make it into the tomb, find this, whatever relic it was, and it turns out they knew that the relic was this red dragon scale, and to use it in order to gift it to a different dragon in the hopes of convincing that dragon to turn towards assisting the cult of the dragon in their hopes to take over this part of the realm. You see that the name of the dragon was named that they were trying to entice toward to helping them was Scorl Worix, SCORLWORYX. So having that, you now have proof of what it was that Spearnick and the Cult of the Dragon was trying to do by obtaining this relic, but you now have it in your possession, and are able to do what you will with it, whether that's bring it back to bringing it back to the library, or
Can you
not.
spell
It's up
his
to you.
name again?
Yeah, it is SCORLWORYX.
Interesting spelling.
The library didn't say they lost a red dragon scale. They just said they lost, like, I guess even Tim,
Pages.
who is a good person, would not be like, well, why would we give them the dragon scale? We're the ones who found it, right?
Tim, why don't
I
you?
guess
Yeah,
I'd
Josh
be
wants
saying.
to keep it.
Tim,
I guess
why
this
don't
would
you
be in
also-
character. I'd
Go ahead.
going, hey, what should we do with this dragon scale, guys? I guess I know that dragons are magical, and this could be a powerful artifact. Oh, yeah, he was telling us it's a powerful artifact to use it. So, I would be worried about just giving it away to somebody, because who knows what they're gonna do with it.
I mean, Eerie risked his life for this, so I don't want to give it away with too much haste.
No, we need to find out more about it. Find someone who could tell us, maybe.
And Spearnick had told us that the cult of the dragon is specifically trying to take over the world and destroy everything. So we want to make sure that it doesn't somehow fall back into their hands. They are officially bad guys.
Cool. I'll make a note of that. Official bad guys.
As you're having this conversation, you make your way back towards the entrance of the temple. You make your way up the stairs, and you find yourselves back in the circle of standing stones outside. It is at this point probably like middle of the night, probably like super early morning, not quite dawn yet, maybe like 4 a.m. or so. What do you all do? What are your plans after having made it out? Do you plan to make your way back to Flan? immediately, or
I
what's
think
up
we
now?
should take a rest. We all need to like process these emotions.
Yeah, definitely. Bug is gonna immediately go to bury Erie's body in the woods.
Bug, you find a few moments to kind of look for the perfect spot. And you do find something. You find something in kind of a clearing, still in the woods, but enough to be protected so that nothing disturbs the spot. Or it's very unlikely to disturb the spot. And it looks really pretty. I mean, really nice rock formations nearby. The foliage isn't quite as unruly in this spot. And you start digging, and it's until you're satisfied. You place Erie's body in the grave, and after everyone has the opportunity to say some last words, you cover up the grave, and you all take a deep breath and exhale, and are ready to face whatever is next. Albeit not happily or lightly. It's still a very heavy moment, but you are prepared for what's to come, ready to move on.
In that case, I would be down to make a camp, sort of similar to where we did before, and just have a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Agreed.
You make your camp, and by the time you're done, it's like 5 or so, 6, I guess, with the after having done everything beforehand, and you get a good, well-deserved, full 8 hours of sleep. Feel free to give yourselves a long rest. And by the time that you wake up, you notice that the sky has become a little more overcast. Looks like a storm is coming. And it does begin to start drizzling a little bit. But you pack up your gear, you pack up your campsite, and whenever you're ready, we can start making our way back to Flan. Is there anything anyone wants to do before we start heading out?
I think Josh is not used to seeing this, all of these negative emotions. Not really used to feeling them himself either. So he doesn't really know what to do. So he just kind of pulls out his lute and starts playing a little tune while they're walking, hoping to cheer people up. But he's kind of feels awkward.
Josh, you spent a couple. Go ahead, Bug.
Oh no, sorry, go on.
You start you playing your lute. I don't know. Maybe you see a smile here or there, but the general mood is just kind of woof. It's kind of heavy. But you do what you can, and you bring what levity you can to the situation. Bug,
Yeah,
what
I
are
think
you
that
doing?
Bug is feeling like a little bit of father whose husband has just died energy, where he's feeling very shell-shocked, but also the responsibility for these two young people who they're now involved in this complicated evil fighting thing. So and yeah, so he's feeling a big weight on his shoulders of responsibility for these two two, as he sees it, like young green children, basically, even though I don't think they're that much younger than him. But
as you're contemplating that bug, and as everyone is kind of gathering up their emotions and everything, you continue along the journey in earnest. You begin your travel, and the rain begins to come down a little harder. Eventually, the rain is coming down so hard that it's almost unbearable how soaked your clothing is. You're beginning to feel a little cold from the rain, and so you can't help but think that maybe a little bit of shelter might be in your best interest. And it's a little disheartening because you don't recall seeing anything along the way. You continue walking for maybe another hour or so until eventually you're thinking about just finding a way to set up camp one more time, find a way to start drying out your clothes. And it's at that point that you see off in the distance this little cottage that appears to have a little bit of shelter, or something that might be beneficial to you. What do you do upon seeing this cottage?
I'm gonna sort of like put my hands on the two others' back and be like, let's go see what's up with that place. We gotta get dry.
I think Josh
I'd be
kind
just
of likes being in the rain, so he's a little like, oh, okay, I guess.
You start walking your way towards the cottage. You don't notice anyone around it. For the most part, I wouldn't say it looks deserted, but it definitely looks like no one is present at the moment. What do you do while you approach it, or as you approach it, or what do you? Yeah, what's everyone doing?
I think my goal would just be to go like stand under the like porch awning and like catch my breath more than anything, and maybe knock on the door.
Cool. You knock on the door, and as you do so, Bug, you don't hear anything inside. And in fact, as you knock on the door, you see that the door actually opens up a little bit. It wasn't totally latched. Take a brief moment to take a quick look inside. Just steal a look. You don't intend to like really make a huge deal about breaking in and entering, obviously, but your curiosity gets the better of you. And inside, you can see that there is a small central room with this very weathered but comfortable-looking armchair. You see that it's covered in throws and pillows. There's shelves and pots adorning every nook and cranny. From those nooks and crannies, you can see that there are just an immense amount of plants that are growing and twisting across the ceiling and the floor, transforming into a patchwork of mossy green and vibrant flowers. In the corner, you can see that there's a small table that neatly holds a few books. You see some glass vials containing liquids of a strange consistency. And you can smell, as you open the door, this strong, sweet, floral smell lingering in the air. But you do catch a hint of something a little bit musty beneath it. You can't quite help but think that maybe something is decomposing. And you're suddenly startled by a small, darkly colored owl that flies past all of you. It's hooting incredibly loudly. Like, everyone to please give me a wisdom saving throw, please.
$18.
5.
Also 5.
Auntie Glome, what happens after this owl emerges from the cottage?
What are you doing in my house? You all see a very old-looking woman, probably not quite in her 70s yet, but certainly getting up there in years. She is hunched forward at about a 45-degree angle, wearing just like very basic leather clothes with a sort of like shift dress over it, and then furs clutched tightly around her neck. She has a long staff and a book at her hip with bones embroidering and detailing all over the spine and the cover. And as she walks up, the owl lands on the end of her staff, and you can see her hand kind of clutched as she casts Hold Person on the three of you.
Does hold person stop us from talking, or is it just?
I think this is like more
Structure.
flavor because
Yeah.
I don't think you could do it on 3 people. So it's like this is just how we're playing it.
So I'll say yes, you can still talk.
Okay.
Well, speak up. What are your names? What are you doing in my house?
We just were wet. We just wanted to get dry, ma'am.
We didn't mean to intrude.
Auntie snaps her fingers, and with a little prestidigitation, both Bug and Josh are instantly dried of their soaking clothes, and she says, "There, you're dry. You can go now."
That is so nice of you. Would you
What's
happen
your
to have
name?
some food as well? My name is Josh.
Well, Josh, you're a very interesting young man. You break into my house, and about 4 seconds after I've cast defensive magic at you, you start asking if I have food. I like you. And I'll drop my Hold Person on the two of them and just kind of stomp my little crookedy way further into the cottage to start seeing if I can find any food in the kitchen.
Well, Josh is gonna follow. He feels like very comforted by this old woman. He never had, well, he did at some point have a mom, but because he has memory loss from the age of like 15 and earlier, he doesn't know any memories of his parents, so he never really had a mother figure. He just had Chad.
I think I sort of put one of my wrinkly little hands on Josh's shoulder as I walk back to the kitchen, and I start waving my staff. My little owl, whose name is Mavis, starts assisting me by flying up to the high shelves that I can't really reach anymore, and getting the right little sachets. And pretty quickly, I've got some tea brewing, and I've got a little plate of just like a bread, like a nice warm savory bread that I definitely prestidigitated to be heated up and is just left over from last night. But I will invite you all into my kitchen to sit down, and I'll put out some tea.
And I think Tim would say, we meant no offense. We were seeking shelter from the rain. We've been in a hell of a situation. One of our friends have passed recently, and we were just looking for any sort of reprieve, spiritual or physical.
I'm so sorry to hear that, young man. You know, it's very hard when you lose someone. I've done it quite a few times at my age, but I hope you took no offense as well. A lady like me, at my age, living alone in the woods, can't be too careful about people showing up unexpected, unannounced.
Well, I'm sure you can handle yourself.
Oh, thank you. And I mage hand another little cookie over to Josh.
No offense meant, ma'am, but why Bug has not touched the food yet. Why should we trust that as you say, a defenseless little old lady with pretty intense magical abilities means us no harm? It's a dangerous forest, and these are dangerous times.
Well, you know, magic can only get you so far. You still have to have your wits about you, you know. If I could see someone breaking in, then sure, I could do something about it. But what happens if I'm asleep? Or, you know, I could be taken out just as easily by falling down the stairs as I could by intruders at this point.
Oh, I've fallen down
know,
stairs before.
I think I picked up on that. I got that vibe very very quickly. But I think you do. I think as the tea is being poured and as you ask that, Bug, with a wave of her hand, some lights start to come in, and I think you would notice in this moment some like kind of familiar bestial elements about her. Her eyes are like black and yellow pupils that are slitted like her familiars and owls. And at the end of her like knobbly little hands, her fingernails are just a little too long and a little too sharp. And she's got just these faint little horns, not as noticeable as Erie's, but these faint little deer horns sprouting from under her wiry gray hair.
Sorry if this is a personal question, but do you have any past dealings with the Fae by chance?
Oh goodness, no. No, you must be referring to no, that's a family thing. That's part of my ancestry.
My apologies. My apologies. I think, however, though, as Bug notices that it does sort of warm him up to this lady as well. Just because of the reminder of Erie.
Hey, you didn't say what your name is.
How rude of me. I'm Anti-Glome. And I live here with Mavis. The end.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Auntie.
Where are you all coming from that you're out on a night like this and with such recent tragedy?
I don't think you want to know.
You might be surprised. Try me.
It's a long story.
We don't want to trouble you with our troubles.
I gesture at the tea that's already been poured and sit back a little further in my chair. It's like, well, you're not going anywhere anytime soon.
And pay no attention to the bright glowing red gem in Josh's backpack. That has nothing to do with it.
It's like spreading red light out of the backpack.
We may have had some trouble with dragons.
Dragons? In this part of the world?
Dragon.
Well,
Heard of them?
You get some of them. Every once in a while, you know, there's a lot of different groups of people who live out here, kind of on the fringes of the civilized world closer to Flan, and I certainly try and stay aware of everybody, but I'm not. I like to keep to myself. I don't like to get too involved in all the goings on. So I'd heard there was a little bit of ruckus going on in the mountains recently, but not anything besides that.
I think I would tell her about the cult of the dragon as being active in the area, and you need to be careful and watch out for the crazy cultists, at least.
Would you tell me about the Scalebinder?
I think eventually, like, I would recognize that you are more knowledgeable about magical things, and I would say, hey, have you ever seen or heard of, like, I would try to nondescriptly describe what happened, but not, like, you'd be able to tell this is what we just did.
Yeah, I think if you...
Have you ever heard of the cult of the dragon? Unrelated, but just curious.
Have I ever heard of Cult of the Dragon?
Or Circle of the Scale.
That's what I meant to say.
Can I do a little history or something?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, that is a 18.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't say that you know, like, intricacies of, like, what it is that they believe. You know that there have been rumors that have been going around about this cult gaining power and influence in the realm for some reason, and it has something to do with dragons. You're not quite sure what exactly, but you've definitely heard rumors that name has come across your ears in the last couple
Nasty
of months.
business, that. I don't like it, and I don't like this. Don't like this Scalebinder fellow you ran into. I think I'm more interested if they make any mention to me that, like, he was undead or seemed to, like, wield any kind of power of death. I think I would definitely, like, my ears would kind of perk up and my eyes would get a little bit wider, and I'd just listening. Well, that's a frightful experience, and now you've run away from it with one less companion and one more treasure to show. And what will you do now, I wonder?
Well, we set out on this mission because of a wanted poster. But that man from the poster is dead now, so not really sure where we're going next.
I think we had the books to return. We did get the books, so we can go give those back at least.
Yeah. Josh doesn't really think about books.
Books, you say? Can I have a look at those?
Yeah, sure. I'll let you look over the books as
Who
payment
doesn't
for letting us
trust an
stay
old
here.
lady?
Yeah, I think that Bug was probably
Well, I would
like,
be like, hey, could you... I would be offering, like, hey, could you tell us more about this? Have you ever seen this? Like, it would be me thinking you would tell us more, but then you're just like, oh, what's this? This is
Interesting.
yeah, I think it was a classic, like, Bug was like, wait, but then, like, Farm Boy Tim has already put them on the table and is like, yeah, take a look at this. And, like, yeah,
Can I do some kind of, like, investigation or something? Like, I guess I don't know if there's anything else for us to find out from these books.
Give me, you can give me, like, an investigation check.
Okay. Ba-da-da-da-da. It's 11.
11. Yeah, no, you don't discern anything additional than what it was that they were trying to tell you. You see that there was there's generally a lot of information in these books. I guess not a lot of information, but, like, the common thread of information in these books is that a lot of them deal with this temple that is associated with a cult that may or may not house this relic that may or may not be very, very valuable or influential to dragons or others who might be interested in possessing it.
Well, can't say I can make heads or tails of it, but where did you said these books were stolen? Where were they stolen from?
From Mantor's library.
A library. This would be the library in Flan?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, the Lord Sage's library.
Interesting. Whew, I haven't been to Flan in a long time. But this might warrant some further research. Mavis?
Would you want to come with us?
Ah, such a sweet young man. I was thinking the exact same thing. Mavis, get my bags. We're going on a little trip.
The owl flies into one of the other rooms and starts flying back, like very in a very belabored way, holding this heavy bag and the staff that Auntie Glom had set down.
You like already had a bag packed to go on some other trip.
Yes.
And I'm just starting to mage hand, like put things away, like tidy up the table, just like get everything put away and ready for a little trip.
Could we take some of the cookies with us?
Of course, dear, of course. Just don't eat them after 3 days have passed. Something very bad could happen. But for the next 3 days, they're going to be delicious.
Okay.
I think while Auntie Glom is doing all of this, I'm gonna sort of like pull the other two to the side, and have some words of I don't know, caution / of maybe just like, okay, she seems like a perfectly fine lady, but please be more cautious inviting people into our journey, as the roads are dangerous and we need to only have people we trust.
Well, what? I don't understand what there is to not trust about her.
You see Tim pull a little bag of spare, like, nuts and bolts and little gadget things to work out, and I'm going to cast the Augury spell, which gives me good or bad omens based on a decision. By rolling Dragon Bones, laying out cards, or employing some other divining tool, you can see an omen from an otherworldly entity about a specific course of action to take place within the next 30 minutes. DM chooses from the following omens: good, and bad, neither. So I would say I would want to cast Augury about Will joining with Auntie Glom provide us. How would that work out?
I'm...
Spell. Yeah, okay, that's all.
The spirit is moving me to say weal and woe. But who's to say what the woe is about? Who knows? Who knows? But that's what I'm being called to say.
All right.
I'd say
Who am I to-
any bit of good is good.
The world is full of woe. Suppose if there's any positivity out of this action, who am I to naysay it? All right. You're coming
What
with
are you
us.
all doing over there in the corner?
They were talking about you.
Well, that makes sense. I'm a very strange old lady that they just found in the woods. I'd be more concerned if you weren't talking about me.
Well, I was definitely talking
All right,
about you too.
Auntie Glom, are you, I see your bags are already packed. I assume you're prepared for a long journey, it seems, out of nowhere.
Well, You never know when you gotta make a break for it. Always remember, kids, it's always a good idea to have a go bag.
No, that's true. She's right on that front.
And I think if we're getting ready to leave, I'm gonna cast Long Strider on myself, which lasts for an hour, and boost my speed by 10 feet. And I think it doesn't like look like I'm walking any faster, but somehow I'm just like blurring a little bit and like moving faster than an old lady should be able to.
Yeah, is the rain still like crazy heavy right now? Or
Yeah, say at least wait for the rain to stop at least.
It's
wait
like,
it out a little bit?
yeah,
or-
it's like drizzling at this point. It's not terrible. Definitely not as heavily as when you broke into this woman's house.
You all took a very long time telling that story.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just drizzling, I'm ready to head out.
You all pack up your gear, start following quickly after Auntie, and you make your way back to the road, following it for another couple hours. Eventually, you start. The sun starts to fall. Still just drizzling at this point. You set up camp for the night. Got one more day of travel ahead of you, but you set up camp. Get another good night's
I will
sleep.
ritual cast Tiny Hut, which is just a nice little dome of force that we can all sleep in for the night.
Beautiful, beautiful. You do that. It's a little unconventional, I feel like, for the rest of you, but who are you to say?
Walking in a circle, muttering some things, just going.
Oh, you know what? If we have time to it, I would also want to cast the spell Ceremony once or twice, and to convert some vials of water into holy water. So I now have some holy water.
Amazing. Perfect. Yeah, you've got that. Yeah, does anyone else want to do anything for the evening before this day comes to a close as well?
Josh just does his daily like meditation where he tries to connect to Chad and tell him he misses him.
Yeah, I
all.
think Bug is just doing some like it might look pretty similar, where he's just sort of like staring off into the distance, being sad right now.
Yeah.
That's his evening activity.
Well, you spend the evening doing all of those things, and you get eventually another good, well-deserved night of sleep. And eventually, morning comes. The rain has totally stopped. You pack up all of your gear, and you finish the last, I don't know, about half a day, 3/4 of a day worth of travel, making your way back to Flan. And eventually, you do reach the town. You see that it is just as bustling and busy as ever. I'm assuming, where are we heading? Are we heading straight to the library, or what do we do upon entering the town? How does everyone react? Particularly interested in Auntie. How long has it been since she's been to Flan?
I haven't been around this many people in a long time. I think Auntie just looks even a little bit smaller, if that's possible. She's just kind of shrunken down, and Mavis isn't flying around too much, not drawing a lot of attention, just kind of perched on the end of her stick, and she's solidly allowing Bug and Josh and Tim to kind of surround her, or like letting them, kind of walking close to them. very interested in its library.
You continue along the path, entering the town, and you start making your way towards Mantor's library. You find your way.
Yeah, I think we just want to go deal with that right away rather than anything else.
Perfect. You make your way to the part of town where the library is, and you open the doors in front of the grand entranceway. You walk inside, and you can see the Lord Sage is there, and he's speaking to this woman who is wearing this incredibly like beautifully crafted ceremonial armor.
I love her hair.
Right?
So
she
cute.
is so she's talking with the Lord Sage, and you can see the Lord Sage is just kind of like shaking his head, eyes are closed, just looking very exhausted, I think the word is. He looks up and sees that the four of you are walking into the library. He gestures towards this woman to give him just a brief moment, and he walks up to all of you and he says, "Ah, my friends, it's good to see that you all are, well, some of you are back. Is how is where's the fourth?"
We lost a brother along the way.
I'm so sorry.
I
to
hope
hear
these
that.
books are worth it.
He looks a little guilty, but he takes the books, and he just kind of like ekes out this very quiet, "Thank you so much." And as he does so, the woman walks up and he lifts up his head. He looks towards the woman. He says, "May I present to you, Aelid Burrell. This, my friends, is the knight of the. She's a knight of the Black Fist here in town. She is its leader, charged with the betterment of the city. She has come to the library at my request because, well, unfortunately, and he kind of like trails off, not sure how to tell you. And she pipes up and she says, "I understand that you went out looking for some books. Unfortunately, the individual you were looking for was not the only individual engaged in this deceitful, illegal activity." And the Lord Sage says, "Unfortunately, it seems there is another who has been stealing additional books. I'm very sorry to say." And the woman just says, "This time, though, not from the library itself. They are books that have been stolen from individuals throughout the city, mostly in Scholars Square." He takes the books from you and he kind of like gestures over for a clerk to stop by, takes the books, and he kind of whispers in the clerk's ear, and the clerk wisps away, carrying the books, no doubt to reshelf them, inventory them, make sure that they're not damaged, make sure they're correct, all the information is contained therein. And the Lord Sage says, "It is quite regretful that this is continuing to happen. I'm not sure quite why, but we received word of another theft from an individual who works here at the library, Casra Brandywine. She might have more information about the details, but what it comes down to is someone else affiliated, we believe, with the Cult of the Dragon, perhaps, has been stealing additional books. Their thirst for knowledge is quite quite deep, I would say. He kind of like shakes
Why would
his
they
head.
have to steal them? Is access to these books restricted in any way?
The Blackfist Knight, Burl, kind of perks up, and she says, in fact, many of these books were quite restricted. They were in the possession of 3 different private individuals here in the city. They were kept hidden away by some of them. Some individuals were displaying the books behind magical enchantments, as far as I understand. Yet each of these was taken.
Who were these 3 individuals?
You might have more luck speaking with Casper Brandywine. I've only just been brought into this this whole situation. As far as I understand, she learned of the thefts just this morning, and immediately went to speak with the Lord Sage, who then called me. I would do more to try to investigate the theft of these books, but unfortunately, my resources are spread quite thin at the moment. The Lord Sage kind of perks up and he says, yes, it seems that you all are the experts in getting documents and books returned, so I thought perhaps I might volunteer all of you for some assistance. Of course, you're warranted the reward for bringing back these books. And he kind of steps away for a second. He goes back to find a bag. He brings forward a bag with gold in it. He provides 50 gold pieces for each of the books that he provides to you. And he says, there's certainly more where that came from if you were willing to assist with this. There's certainly much more at stake with this, and much more involved than I think is revealed at this point. Tell me though, but before we get into that, were you able to find this Spearneck who was infiltrating the library? Did you find him?
We did.
And
He's dead.
Well, I suppose that that takes care of any issues with that problem that presents us. He takes a deep breath and he exhales, and he says, "This other individual, I'm wondering if perhaps there were. Well, perhaps you might ask, Miss Brandywine. My understanding is there was a third individual with whom Spearneck, or a second individual with whom Spearneck was speaking or affiliated with when he joined the library. We can't know for certain whether this is the individual who was stealing books, but given the fact that he was recently also hired with the library, along with Spearneck and his other companion, perhaps this is a good lead. At any rate, I can call, let Miss Brandywine know that you'll be speaking with her if you choose to do so. In the meantime, do you have any other information that you learned on your last journey?
Yeah, I don't know
Nope,
if we would tell him. We
Yeah,
found
I don't
Spearneck dead in the middle of a field with nothing around, just the books.
Yep.
Nothing
else to report. Pretty simple.
The Black Knight, or the Knight of the Blackfist Knight, Aitlid, kind of looks at you. She can't quite tell. She can't quite get a good read on the 4 of you, but she keeps her mouth shut, and she turns towards the Lord Sage and says, Well, I will return to my post. If you should have any more information, or you, as she turns towards the four of you, I'll be more than happy to return here. We can discuss further what steps forward this may be. This is a very intriguing and interesting development. It's clear to me that the cult of the dragon, they are clearly up to something. The machinations are quite involved. They keep popping up, but we'll do our best to stamp them out once we learn a little more information. Until then, I'll be at my post. And she turns and she leaves the library. And as she does so, you can hear the clanking of her heels against the marble floors as she makes her way out of the building.
So where is this Miss Brandywine?
Oh, she has an office here in the library. It's actually up the stairs towards the back of the library. You can go there now. My understanding is that she is in today.
And to Gloam, I think Eerie would have wanted you to have his share of the gold. It's only fair.
I don't have to do anything. I mean, what am I gonna use gold for? Does the field take gold? Do the animals of the forest take gold? I don't need it.
The Lord Sage says, you actually, if you can exchange the gold for services or items that you might buy in the city or elsewhere. It's a form of what we call legal tender here in Flan.
I want to give the Lord Sage an absolutely withering look, and then say, "Right, let's go talk to Miss Brandywine."
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, I just mansplained money to you.
So how much gold was it per person?
50, or I think
50
Or
per
is it-
book.
it was
50 per book, so
book.
150 divided by 4. I don't dare do math on stream.
20.
I thought it was only 2 books.
Oh no.
There's two
I think
books.
it's 2 books.
So it'd be
I think we just get
25 each.
25 each.
Unless Anti-Gloam is
All right.
turning down their share.
What am I gonna use money for, truly? Like,
Josh
Y'all
like
keep
looks at
money.
Auntie. Well, I could take it. If you don't want
oh
it.
yes. Oh, you've been my favorite so far, and I'm going to give 15 of my 25 to Josh, and then 5 each to the other 2.
I wouldn't feel right taking Erie's share. Josh, you can have it.
Alright.
So I
More
guess
for
20 to
me.
Josh and 5 to Tim.
20 to Josh.
Or we could like say that we go buy him a permanent seat at the pub for the cost of 10 gold or whatever.
Oh. You get a little
That's-
plaque.
That's really sweet. That's really sweet, Tim.
I think whoever that little idiot was who got himself killed, this would really mean a lot to him.
The Lord Sage like, okay, that's my cue to leave. You can find Ms. Brandywine upstairs. Goodbye. I hope you get some good information. Goodbye. And he leaves.
Soon as he leaves, a much more serious look on my face, and I want to kind of lean in to everybody and say, "No, but for realsies, if whatever's in those books is important enough to be restricted to just 3 individuals' private collections, then I'd be very interested in reading what is in them."
Okay.
And we had also gotten some clues about the third collaborator, but we never followed up on that, so it'd be good to close that loose end.
Yeah, I think Bug is swallowing his anger at what Auntie said a few moments ago, and clenching his big meaty fist, and then not, and then sort of swallowing it down and saying, "All right, let's go find this Brandywine lady."
You make your way up the stairs towards the back of the library, and eventually you find kind of like a little section of the library that's dedicated to office space. You see a sign that kind of directs you towards the different titles, different individuals' offices by title. You see that the Scribe Master's office is pointed towards a little further back, kind of away from the hustle and bustle of the grand hall of the library. Eventually you reach it. You see that the Scribe Master's office is small and very cramped. A problem made much, much worse by the sheer number of books that are stacked haphazardly on every piece of furniture within. A sign on the door reads, Castra Brandywine, Scribe Master. Beneath that, a small piece of wood hangs on a nail with the word "in" written on it in chalk. As you knock on the door, a voice from an unseen source calls out, "Just a moment!" There's the creaking of a wooden chair, a muttered curse, and then a loud crashing noise as a few stacks of books are knocked to the floor, revealing a young-looking halfling with short blonde hair. Her hands and shirt are stained with smudges of blue ink. She walks up to you. Yes, hello. Can I help you? What brings you here?
Aren't you just a pretty young thing? We need
the Lord
useful
Sage.
info.
The Lord Sage had sent us to talk to you concerning the most recent book thefts.
Oh, okay. Lord Sage. Okay, I'll just ignore the comment about my height that you just gave me a couple seconds ago. All right. So Lord Sage sent you? Interesting. All right. Well, all right. Well, hopefully you all are competent enough to solve this little conundrum we're in. Cool. So, I'm assuming he told you that the books are stolen. They were taken from private individuals, right?
Yeah, one of them was
Yes,
you, right?
Good. Well, one of them was not taken from me. One of them, I learned of the theft. So, and that's when I went to the Lord Sage. Yeah. So let's see. What did he tell you? Did he tell you the name of the books?
No.
Oh, okay. All right,
No.
great. So I've got a lot of catching up to do. This is great. This is definitely not going to take a ton of time and cut into the work that I need to do today. This is great. Okay. First book. It was stolen 6 days ago from the office of Aya Glenmere. She's a wizard here in town. Okay. You hear, she's a wizard. She maintains a small shop in Scholars Square. All right? The book she had was a treatise on the weave. It was entitled The Weave, a collection of impractical observations. Very, very dry. I don't know why anyone would want it, but she's had it in her private collection for some time. In fact, she's had it in private collection for a long time. I think the fines that she owed on that book would be astronomical, I think, at this point. Okay, at any rate, we can get back to that when we need to. Second book, stolen from a Martin Foss. He's a retired adventurer.
When was it stolen?
What?
When was it stolen?
The first one was stolen 6 days ago. This one was
the second one.
I'm getting to it. Could you give me a second? Second one was stolen 4 nights ago. 2 nights after the first one. All right? Make sense?
Yeah, what was his name? Martin Foss?
Yeah. You would have heard it if you hadn't interrupted me.
Well, I did hear it because I just repeated it.
Okay, okay. Point taken. All right, I like you. You're feisty. I like that. Okay. Martin Foss. He's a retired adventurer. He's a resident of Flan. He kept it in his private collection, in his home, in the Nobles' Quarter. So he's rich. But not rich enough to keep the book secure enough with a proper system or what have you. But I digress. That's fine. That book was a personal memoir of a guy named Ren. He's a long-dead ranger of some I don't know, repute. I don't know. He was once one of Flan's most famous citizens. Have you heard of him before?
No.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. All the good that did him. To be honest, I think it's a
I've
little.
been in the forest.
Oh. All right. Anyway. Anyway.
I just don't want to be judged for not knowing pop culture when I've been out
I'm
in the
from
forest.
California.
I've never heard of the Kingdom of California, but to each their own. Anyway, so this guy, I'm not sure why anyone would want some of this. That first book was dry. This book is, frankly, I think it's a little conceited. I just think that someone who would write a memoir is kind of full of themselves, right? A little narcissistic, I think, but. I mean, to each their own. That's fine. I don't want in that way. Anyone would want to steal that, but they did. We gotta find that one. Last one. Third and final theft occurred last night. Title of that book: The Lords and Lineage of Flan. It's possession of Aegon Lamerick. He's also a noble. Specializes in the history of Flan, specifically genealogy and heraldry. Got it?
What was
Also,
the name of that one?
That was. What?
What was the name of that book?
You heard him.
I'm gonna repeat
No,
it.
I didn't.
I'm gonna repeat it one more time, because, the respect I have for you is fluctuating so much. You're feisty, but you also don't listen. So
The other times you said things in a different order, so I was expecting you to say the person's name and then the book's name. But this time you said the book and then the person, and
You're
it was
right.
kind of confusing.
You're right. I'm sorry. I wasn't
That-
acting like
that
a
threw me
programmed
off as well.
construct. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. The name of the book was called "The Lords and Lineages of Flan." Also,
That's also a long title.
it's long and it's also a boring book. I would not recommend. Why do I work in library sciences? Do I just not like reading?
Why would you do that to yourself?
Huh. Good point. I guess the pension's great. It's a government job, you know? So,
Mm.
all right. Anyway,
I'm sorry. Could you repeat the name of the person that was stolen from, and where it was stolen from? Please,
okay,
milady.
because you said please. Because you said please. Yeah. Aegon, Agin, Lamerick, Lamarck. We good? Did you all write it down in our little notebooks?
where I'm sorry, this is out of character, but I love the idea that each of us has a tiny identical notebook that we're writing all of these in.
Josh's notes are mostly like illegible because he doesn't really read or write much. He wants people to think he's smart and like writing things down.
I look over at Josh. It's
it's
just
like
a picture
that-
of a cat.
Yeah, it's like he just is writing like important notes, over and over again.
I've just been staring unblinkingly at the little halfling this whole time.
What's up with this one? She seems a little weird.
You don't have to say little halfling.
She's
It's very
our auntie.
What? When I
She's
was a girl, that's
new.
how we called them that. I don't know. Kids these days so
Oh.
sensitive about everything.
Okay, I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that. Anyway, here's the
Bug
deal.
has another question.
Yeah. What do you want? What's your name, Bug?
Yes.
What do you
My name
want?
is Bug. Bug is very embarrassed, and feels very out of his depth. I'm sorry. You said where the other ones. The first one was the Scholars Square, and the Nobleman's Quarter. Where was this third one stolen from?
Third one was stolen from Agent Landmark's residence, I believe.
Okay. Thank you, librarian.
You're very welcome. Thank you for saying thank you. I appreciate it. It's a sign of a very polite individual. I appreciate it.
Thank you, library science
Okay.
person.
You don't have to suck up to me now. The moment's passed, but thank you.
What does suck up to mean?
It means... It means pissing me off is what it means. Anyway,
Oh,
um,
I can't really do much up to you because you're down below
okay.
me.
All right. Okay. This is all lightly, hilariously short phobic. This is great. Thank you. Cool. Okay, here's the deal. I was told by the Lord Sage that you all would be offered 100 gold pieces for the successful retrieval of the stolen books. I do not care if the thief is caught. I just want the books. Because I've got to apparently dive into a bunch of research as to why they're being taken. That's going to take
Is there
a lot
any
of time.
sort of leads on who the culprit might have been or where they might be now, if they're still in Flan or if they've made a break for it?
Oh, so my understanding is that there was, so this, person I think I just heard very, very recently, that you were sent out to go capture or bring back, in one piece. I'm assuming you did that. The Spearnick. So my understanding is that
We were just told to bring him to justice.
like to jail.
To each their own.
Okay.
It's very vague.
Okay, great. Anyway, so my understanding is that Spearnick had actually, in addition to this other friend he had, I forget what his name is. It started with a T or something. He actually was hired here at the library. The two of them were. There was actually a third person that was hired around the same time, but he kind of like flew under the radar a little bit. His name was shoot. She turns around. She kind of like turns a couple pages on a ledger. Ellis something. Ellison Behringer, I think. That person was also hired here at the library. Apparently, our hiring process isn't very thorough when it comes to the background checks kind of thing. I think this guy too was also maybe someone probably shouldn't have hired, but who am I to say? I'm just the scribe master who, At any rate, we think that this third employee that was hired may have done it, may have had ties with the Cult of the Dragon, just like the other two did. And so that's what we've got going on. We haven't heard or seen from Ellison in quite some time. He's supposed to show up for a shift yesterday, I believe. Not a word ever since. And that's when we started digging into the background, digging into his history, when he was hired. I came to the conclusion that he's just a bad dude, I think.
Josh writes,
Do
bad dude. With the little stick
Do you
figure.
have any... Amazing. Do you have any knowledge of where this Ellison Behringer might be? Did you have an address him when you hired him, or you're sending wages to, or
He hasn't been here for that
an
long. I
emergency
don't know.
contact?
I got nothing on him. He was just supposed to show up to work, do his job, go home, wherever that might be. And he didn't yesterday, and this is what happened. Turns out all of the information, there's not too much that we have to go off of. I don't know where he is now, and even if he was, living anywhere nearby, I don't know that he would want to be sticking around there for the time being.
And Ed, you said, was there an immediate connection between the books that were stolen, or they seem to be unrelated?
I have no idea. Well, other than the fact that they're all boring books. I think that's... So unless the Cult of the Dragon is trying to raise this dragon from the dead to be the most annoyingly boring, but well-read dragon, I have no idea why they're stealing these books.
Okay.
Genealogy, lineages. A lot of people's power comes from their history.
Yeah. I just had one question about the first one you mentioned, the weave. What is that?
You know, we are in a library, and so if you wanted to find the answer to that, you could go find a book if you wanted. I'm just saying. It's not a call out, not a call out, not a criticism.
Oh.
I'm just saying.
Oh, but we clearly have a very knowledgeable librarian scientist in front of us who might know right off the top of your head.
Okay. All right. Fine.
That-
You're being respectful. I'll give you what little I know. My understanding is that it's just
you do.
Thank you. All right. Okay. You're learning that flattery works on me, and it works really well. Thank you very much. Okay.
You're so pretty.
Okay. Weird, but thank you. It's the way in which magic is kind of like materializes here in the world. It's the way in which magic works. I think.
You think?
I don't know. I've got a lot going on. I didn't
You don't
brush
sound
up
that
on my.
confident.
Sorry, I didn't brush up on my magic interaction weave knowledge today for all of you today. But yes. My understanding is that it's the way that the magic kind of like interacts with the world, connects the world. I don't know, anything else?
If what she just said is true, then is there any chance that I know something about the weave?
I mean, yeah, give me like a history check. Please help her out, and by extension, the DM.
Or Arcana?
Arcana, thank you, yes.
Yes. Ooh, 15.
Okay. I mean, yeah. So that tracks. It's you understand it to be like the fabric of how magic works in the universe, and where that magic comes from. Very like ethereal, high-headed stuff.
It is the study of one of the most fundamental forces in our world, the myriad sources that it springs from and the different ways it can be channeled and funneled into reshaping reality itself.
Okay.
Or so I've heard.
Great. Do you want to take my job? You just want to sit behind the desk now, or what?
Oh, well, I do like to sit down.
Okay. No, I'm sorry. I'm overreacting. I'm sorry. It's just been a long day. I've been very stressed. These books being taken. It's on
I
my
hope they're
plate.
paying you well.
Oh.
Overtime and everything.
It could be worse. I'll say that. All right. So, if you are so inclined to help, if you are so inclined to get a couple hundred, or get 100 gold pieces for your time and effort, I would suggest meeting with these 3 individuals. They might have more information about why these books, or how these books were taken. Interview them. Make sure they're telling the truth. It's a lot of effort to go through for this all to be a nothing sandwich, you know?
I think you're right. Let's get stepping.
Yes, thank you.
You're very welcome. All right. Have a nice day. And I don't know, like put in a good word for me, I think. Leave a nice review with the Lord Sage. Bye.
Bye.
4 out of 5 stars.
You leave her office. Go ahead, Bug.
I think Bug is actually gonna tear out a piece of paper from the little notebook that he does have, and give it with a little like quill to Auntie, and
Awesome,
let you
little stars on it.
write an actual
Yes. 4. Knowledgeable, efficient, a lot of back sass. Would recommend.
Yes, nice.
Beautiful.
All right, team, you exit the office, make your way back down to the main floor of the library, ready to start the next leg of the journey. Why don't we take? We've got a little bit of an abbreviated session this week due to scheduling. Why don't we take a moment here to take like a 5-minute break, and we'll get back and finish out the last like 45-ish minutes of the session. That sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, everyone
Cool.
on stream, we will be right back. Bye-bye. Awesome. Okay, I believe we are back. Cool. Okay, so you just finished up speaking with Ms. Brandywine, the scribe master here at the library. You made your way back to the entrance of the library, likely on your way to go searching for these individuals who have had their books stolen, in the hopes of getting a little more information about how they were stolen, just to get more information to report back to the Lord Sage and Kasara Brandywine. So, what do as you reach the entrance to the library and Flan is open to you?
I think Josh wants to talk to the Martin boss. As it was mentioned, he is wealthy, and Josh thinks maybe he'll get extra
Extra what? I'm sorry.
reward.
Okay.
He's always here for milking the rich.
Did we get any sort of addresses when we were talking to Miss Brandywine?
We were told where the books were stolen from.
Yeah. She.
Yes. I just meant, like, are we wandering blind into the city, or like, do we know where these people's houses are?
No, you have a general idea of where they are. She marked on or gave you general directions for where you can find them.
Very well. What do you think? Feels like it might be faster if we all split up, but of course I haven't been around this many people in quite some time, so if you all think it's not a good idea, I defer.
Josh doesn't know either.
What about you,
Probably,
big boy?
Probably shouldn't send him on his own though, because he is known for causing things that are not great to happen.
No, Josh, sweetie, no. You can come with me.
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys are gonna go talk to Martin Foss, I'll go talk to the wizard, Glenmire.
I think you might be muted, Talia.
That makes sense. I was like,
no
there's
one's
a lot of
listening to me.
No one's listening. Okay. Yes, I think Bug is a little bit worried, but is also sort of like, yeah, these are just like book people. Like, they can't be that scary. So I think he's good to split up for these.
Well,
yes, I'll stick with the Lords and Lineages guy.
Josh, remind me, who are we going to see?
Martin Foss,
Martin Foss.
the retired adventurer in the Nobles Quarter.
The pop culture figure. Yes, let's get to stepping. And I'm just gonna send Mavis to kind of like be continuously flying 60 feet in front of me, and then flying back and just kind of circling high overhead as we make our way down the city streets.
Amazing. Okay, so I'm sorry. Let me clarify one more time. So Josh and Auntie are going to see Martin. Okay, let's start with that then. Okay, so Kasra Brandywine directed you towards this basically a training yard is where he is likely to be found today. So you start making your way through the streets of Flan. Eventually, you begin to hear shouts and the clamor of steel on steel They're clearly audible, even before the stout doors to the practice yard open. You open the doors, and you walk inside, and you can see that there is a middle-aged dwarf who is propping one of the doors open with a stump of an arm that has been amputated just above the elbow. Inside, you see that there is a wide practice yard that is in this building. You see that there are chairs and tables that are scattered about. There's a number of people in various stages of exhaustion who are resting. The dwarf frowns as he bids you enter. You've come in about the book, I suppose. Is that right?
How do you know?
Well, I had it stolen from me. So, let's see. What can I do for you? You take a look at him, and you can see that he is a middle-aged dwarf. He's got this kind of long brown hair and a nicely trimmed but long, or nicely shaped but long black beard. It's streaked with gray. And what do you do as you arrive?
Well, we are here about the book. Is there any details you could give us about the theft of it?
Oh, the book. Let's see, what details do I have?
I mean, where was it being kept? And
Well,
who noticed it was missing?
Well, I noticed it was missing. Perhaps I don't want to say it was my fault, but I will say that it was just kind of sitting on a bookshelf. Kind of like not out in the open, but it was, I didn't really have anything. It wasn't secured away or anything. Interestingly enough, it was the only thing that was stolen from my home, so I know it was a targeted theft. Yeah, no, it was just stuck on a bookshelf. I don't know. It's an interesting book. It's about Ren of the Blade. It's a personal hero
Yeah,
of
who
mine.
was that?
Oh, he was just this really famous individual here in Flan. He was instrumental in defeating Tyrannothraxus, who is an entity who had possessed a bronze dragon and ruled Flan many, many years ago. He actually defeated Tyrannothraxus, who subsequently fled into a pool of radiance located beneath Vallejo Keep. Interesting, isn't it?
Auntie, I don't understand what he's saying.
That's all right, dear. A lot of hullabaloo going on today. Is that normal? Do you have a large household?
I'm assisting in their training.
Well, but what I mean to say is, are there frequently strangers coming in and out of the house? Is there a large staff around?
Oh, I mean, no. People don't typically have access to my office area. No. So, it's
and
concerning.
Is there nothing else sticks out to you as strange from the day leading up to or the night after the theft?
I mean, I nothing else that's interesting. I just think what I think is odd is that all of a sudden now it was stolen. I've had that book for, I don't know, 10 years now. And just someone now has decided to steal it. I understand that there have been other book thefts just in the last couple days. And beyond that, I mean, just in the weeks before, I don't know what's going on with all these book thefts. But, what's odd to me is that they're all just all of a sudden being taken. I've had that book for years.
I'd like to pop off a quick insight check just to get a feel for this man's truthfulness.
Give me an insight check.
That's gonna be an 8.
An
I
8.
believe him implicitly.
Yeah, you don't discern anything based on that roll.
Well,
Josh
thank you
rolled
for
a
your...
5.
Yeah, Josh is also not. Nope, you have no idea.
He really doesn't understand what is being talked about right now.
Dream team! All right. Well,
Can I do
thank
a
you for your
perception of like
assistance.
the area though?
Yeah, give me a
Perception
perception
check of the area.
check.
6.
Wow. Yeah. No. You. You're just kind of like you're taking it all in. It's just a cacophony and just a whirlwind of movement as these individuals are kind of like training in the background with swords.
Can we see the room where the book was stolen from?
Can you see it?
No, I'm asking
Oh,
in
do you?
character if we could go see
Oh.
it,
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Absolutely.
or
absolutely.
are we in it?
No. Yeah. You can come take a look. Come on. I'll take you into the back. Hey.
As we're walking, could you just... Where's... My geography is not what it used to be. Where's this Phileo Keep from that legend you were talking about?
Oh, it's I think my recollection. I think it's up kind of the northern part of town, I believe, northwest-ish.
Ah, but here in Flan.
Yes, it's here in Flan.
Yes, of course, I knew that. Just memory must be going. I'm normal resident of Flan.
I don't think many normal residents would describe themselves as normal residents. Okay, neither here nor there. That's fine. Let me take you into the back. He takes you into this kind of like little office area. It's just it's a normal office. You can see that it has built-in bookshelves along the walls. There's a desk in the room. And the bookshelves are kind of like filled with books, except for one space, which is where this book typically was shelved. It's gone, and yeah, you don't see that there were any like security mechanisms or anything to the office aside from like a lock on the door. Nothing fancy by any means. It was just a
And the lock wasn't like busted open.
Nope, not that you can tell. No.
I'd like to use Mavis to give me the help action on a little investigation. I'm gonna have her fly up to the top of the shelves and be able to like peer through her vision at all the titles and see if I could just figure if anything sticks out from his collection or from the surrounding area.
Okay.
So that is a natural 20.
Oh, nice. Okay, with a natural
For 24?
20. So you scan the library. Many of the books that you see in his collection are books about warfare, fencing techniques, swordsmanship. This really is the only kind of book about an individual person or a memoir that's in his collection.
Does it seem a little weird that he had it to begin with?
No, it doesn't. Based on that, no, it doesn't seem weird at all. He seems like someone who is very like, I don't know what the term is, but like just super like, sword
Hero
play
worship.
And, yeah, like well, particularly this person. You can see that there's like a couple of, I don't know, like little trinkets or artifacts, little statuettes, commemorating, or that are of this Ren of the Blade. He's a very big fan, it's clear. So it would not be odd that he has the book.
I see. Well, I'll just put my hand on Josh's shoulder and say, I think we found out all we're going to hit this house. let's let the nice gentleman see us out.
Before we leave, can I just do one more like perception check of this room?
Yeah, go for it.
22.
Okay. With a 22, yeah, you don't see anything else in the room of any import, but you do notice that he is continuously kind of like looking over his shoulder back towards the training room. And you get the impression that he's like, not impatient, but just like he doesn't want to miss what's happening in the training room. He's very drawn to it. You can tell he's feeling very proud, and he wants to be back there to kind of witness the training that's going on, but nothing with respect to the room itself.
I guess as they start walking, Josh like leans over to Auntie and says, "What do you think? Is it worth talking to any of the other people here, or do you think the place is sort of clear to leave?"
Well, if we can find anyone else, I think we'll have I think he might take very poorly if we interrupt his trainees in the middle of this bout to ask them some questions. But you're a very charming young man. If you want to go try and do a little chatting with them, I say go for it.
I don't want this scary man to be mad at me.
Are there any trainees who aren't actively engaged in combat? Anybody who's just around?
I mean, there's a couple who are like super winded, who are like lying down on the ground on the training floor. Everyone else is engaged in the exercises.
Yes, maybe go talk to those folks who are catching their breath.
I don't want to interrupt their rest time.
Well, that's very considerate of you. Mavis, we're going. And I think we're done over here.
Cool. You start walking your way out, and on the way out, Martin yells out, I hope you find the book. It's certainly one of my favorites. It would mean a lot if you brought it back, but good luck. Thank you for stopping by. And you make your way out of the building. Yeah, go ahead.
I mutter finders keepers under my breath as we walk out.
All right. As you make your way out, we turn to the other group, who is... and now remind me, are you two together, Tim and Bug? Are you two, or did you two separate as well?
Unfortunately, I think I'm running out of time a little faster than I thought, so I will not have time to complete a full scene, and we'll just have to call it here for tonight.
Sounds
Sorry,
good. No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, see you next week.
And feel free to have me go around and cause chaos or do whatever you need me to.
Amazing.
If you want to take control.
Sounds good.
Okay. Adios. Goodbye.
Bye. All right.
We were separate though. We went to separate people.
Separate people. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, just a quick second. Cool. Okay. Amazing. Okay, Bug. Where were you headed? I'm sorry.
I was going to Agen Lamrick. I
Perfect.
believe was their name.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so you continue walking through Flan. You start making your way towards where let's see, Kasra told you that Agen can be found. It can be found in like the Noble district. You start making your way there, and you see that there is a small building, and the door opens up into a small, cramped office. Looking within, you can see that there are a number of different heraldic banners from the walls, each hanging above what looks like a gaudily decorated family tree set into a frame. You walk in, and this man looks up from his desk. And he says, "Oh, hello there." He's very deadpan. He's got a sarcastic look on his face. "I'm very excited to be a part of this. Yes, come in. Let's get this over with. All right, what do you need to know?"
Sir, I have a question about, or have some questions about this book that was stolen from you. I understand you're a geologist.
Is that what I said? I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes.
No, I was being Bug misreading his own notes, calling him a geologist.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that's perfect. That's amazing. That's exactly how he reacts. He says, "I think you mean genealogist. Rocks are... I shan't be getting my hands dirty, if you get my meaning." You take a look at him, and he's got this like really pampered and demanding look. Obviously, he's a human male. He's got this black hair framing this narrow face, and he's got green eyes that seem very, just like very privileged. He wears these fine clothes of silk and linen, and he wears no less than half a dozen gaudy rings on his fingers. He's kind of looking at you with just annoyance, not quite derision, but he's just annoyed that the library couldn't even, could even consider of sending someone who would be up to his quote unquote caliber, whatever that means. I think you mean genealogist.
Yeah, Bug is definitely feeling his class at the moment, sort of having like stumped in here with his dirty traveling clothes and being just sort of a bull in a china shop type situation, or bug in a china shop. Okay. Okay, so Bug is gonna sort of like take in the attitude that this guy has, and say, "Okay, listen here, buddy. Neither of us wants to be here. Neither of us wants to be having this conversation, but I've got some information I need to try to get this precious book back that you've got stolen. So can you tell me how you managed to get this thing stolen? Where was it? What did you do, basically?"
Well, I had a very elaborate trap that was set for anyone who tried to steal the book without first going through the proper mechanisms of signaling the trap. You'll see it right over there. Bug, you take a look at the trap. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okie dokie. That is a 9.
Okay, with a 9, you take a look. You can see that the trap is basically there's like a little platform upon which the book would sit. And as far as you can tell, it is like a pressure trap. So if the book were lifted off the platform without going through the proper procedure of triggering the trap, then the trap would be triggered. Very simple, but you don't know. With the 9, you can't tell what the specific like negative effect of the trap is. You just know that it is some sort of platform trap. Yes,
Okay.
quite elaborate, yes, but unfortunately, it didn't seem to fend off these intruders, or the intruder.
Would someone need special magic skills to not trigger this trap, or is it possible that it malfunctioned?
Oh,
Or I mean, I've
My
got
goodness. No. Malfunction? No. Never. This is the work of a highly professional individual. Nothing. There's no way that my trap would not work.
All right. Sorry, buddy. Not to say that I have friends in the business, but I've heard that traps like this, you can sort of counterweight them. Would this need magical powers, or is this, would a skilled thief be able to deal with this?
I think only a skilled thief, one perhaps with magical properties, would be able to overcome. Quite intriguing, isn't it? Quite the mystery. Quite the mystery.
Okay, and who comes in and out of this room? Could somebody have done this sneaky like, or is this a break and enter type situation?
Well, as far as I understand, it's more of a breaking and entering situation. This book has been in my family's possession now for over 700 years, and so there's really no reason that I can see recently for anyone who enters the room to all of a sudden just now decide that it's worth taking, along with many of the other books I understand here in the city. So no, I think no, I think this is a breaking and entering situation.
Do you have any theories about how this happened?
Well, I'm sorry, I said 700. I meant 200. 200 years. They're very similar numbers, but you have to forgive my slip of the tongue. And at any rate, suspicions. What was the question? Suspicions?
Yeah, do you have a theory? Who do you think? Clearly this is important to you. How do you think it happened?
Well, give me an insight check, please.
15.
Okay, with the 15, you can see that there is, he's hiding something. He is not telling you everything. What he does say is, I certainly, someone who certainly wants to do harm to the Lamrak name, someone who is just a thorn in my side, and in my family's side. But I couldn't tell you. I couldn't possibly tell you who it was. The rumor is that it is someone affiliated with the library, but I wouldn't be able to tell you why. Certainly they mean to do my name harm, but that's all I can gather. Can't imagine why.
And you don't have any enemies or anyone who you think you might expect to want to cause you harm?
My good sir, of course I have enemies. The Lamrak family we've been considered to be one of the most well-respected scholarly families in the field of documenting family lineages. We're quoted in scholarly pieces throughout the realm, and it's quite people want a piece of that fame, I think. My theory, I suppose, would be an individual from the library, I don't know, perhaps who's jealous of the fame that my family has, seeks to somehow do some ill will toward, do some harm to my name, I think.
Okay, and what's in this book? What's so special about this book?
It is a catalog of every noble house that has resided within Flan. The first entry dates back, this is where 700 years comes in. The first entry dates back to 700 years ago. It is a wealth of knowledge.
I think that Bug is debating how much information to give this guy. Balanced against how much information he's going to get from him. Say some fancy pants were trying to get up to shenanigans related to some kind of religion or cult, perhaps. Is there any information in here that would be useful to them?
He takes a moment to kind of think about it. Give me an insight check, actually.
Bug is using
Another
his
one.
very meager insight a lot. Okay.
Oh.
18.
Okay, Bug, despite the meager insight check, is doing an incredible job. Bug sees his face kind of like contort into like not quite. He contorts into this face of like discomfort. He's thinking it over, and what he says is, "Oh, I couldn't. I certainly wouldn't be able to tell you why someone would want to take this book. It's other than the fact that it's just full of this excellent knowledge. It's a very valuable book. I couldn't tell you why someone might want to take it for any religious reasons or cult. What is the word I'm looking for? Or for any ideological reasons. But which the impression you get is while he's saying is that he actually has no idea what's in the book. Like specifically. He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't. He's trying to give off this impression that he's an expert in this, but he has no idea what's in this book, other than
Got
generally.
It. Okay. Having exhausted his other options, I think that Bug is gonna go back to his standby, which is to threaten people. And he's gonna sort of like stalk forward a little bit, having ascertained that he doesn't have much to offer in terms of the content of this book. I think he's just gonna sort of like stump forward to the desk, put a fist down on it, and go, "Listen here, buddy. You're a real fancy pants yourself. Not sure how much that tells me about what you've got going on up here." And he sort of like taps the guy's head. But let me tell you, you don't want to be on the wrong side of this one. If you've got anything else that you think might be of importance to someone looking into this book going missing, you better tell it to me right here and now, or you're gonna be sorry.
Give me an
Can you like roll
intimidation check. Yeah.
That might do better than that speech did. Okay, yeah, bring that back. 16.
Okay. With a 16, you see he kind of like crumples, shrinks in fear as you approach him, and he just like immediately breaks. He just says, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I have to be completely honest. I just, okay. You have to promise me that you're not going to tell anyone, please. how do I say this? I may or may not have been not 100% honest when I have been telling all of the citizens of Flan that I am a member of the nobility and that my family is noble. In truth, the last surviving members of the Lamrek line died nearly 200 years ago. I am benefiting from a little forgery my great-great-grandfather made in the lords and lineages of Flan, which has allowed my family to claim descent from the then dead Lamrek line. And so I am terrified that with this book out there, if anyone gets a hold of it and studies it, that the truth will come out and that I would lose a lifestyle that I've become quite accustomed to. And so I am very much hoping that you, your companions, anyone really, is able to either steal the book back, put it back in my possession, or just to destroy the book altogether so that the secret doesn't get out. Please.
Okay, bucko. I don't really care that much about this whole fake nobleman thing you got going on.
Okay, good.
That doesn't mean I'm gonna do anything to help you.
Oh, come on.
Wait. We're gonna look for the book. You just hang tight, eat your pastries, drink your wine, try not to die if Flan gets invaded by dragons or whatever. And I'm just gonna head out.
He yells out, okay, he mutters under his breath, typical commoner. And he goes back to whatever noble things he was doing before you entered. Amazing.
Okay, good for him.
Right. Okay, Bug, what do you do after you leave?
I think I'm just gonna I don't know if we made any plans for like where to meet up again after this. I think I'm just gonna head back to the pub that Erie and I drank at all the time, and is my sort of like regular watering hole. Yeah, I don't think I have anything much else to do without having the information from the other folks.
Cool. Sounds good. Okay, so you go back to the Laughing Goblin. Josh and Auntie, what are you two doing?
We really should have made plans to meet up somewhere.
We should
have. Are we gonna go talk to the third person, maybe?
As flip a coin, we could either go talk to the
It seems
person
that Tim
Bug was
has
going
wandered
to talk-
off and gotten distracted by the pastry cart.
All right, Mavis, go find Tim. Yeah. Yes, let's check in on the third. Yeah, let's go snoop.
Okay, you walk towards another portion of Scholar Square.
This would be
I'm sorry.
Aya Glenmire?
Yes.
Aya Glenmire?
Yes. So she actually resides on one of the nicer buildings on the nicer side of Podal Plaza. You see a rather unassuming building. The door in front is also quite plain. you open it up, and you can see that there is a female half-elf wearing robes, and she stands in the doorway. You can smell
Is that a
this.
cat?
Yes, you can smell this pretty potent smell of flowers wafting from within. Flowers and incense. Perched on a stool next to the elf is a gray-furred cat. She watches the two of you walk in. She says, "I take it the two of you are to interrogate me about the missing book?" And she smiles. "Master Openrail is certainly distrustful. Please come in. As you walk in, you can see that there are just a couple of other people kind of like sitting around various tables here and there. And what you gather is that she kind of like teaches people in like some aspects of the weave and magic generally. And people are kind of like, their heads are down, they're kind of like writing down different notes about the weave, and just kind of like generally like learning about that fabric. And while she has briefly stepped away to come speak with the two of you, what do you do upon entering?
I want to go pet the cat and say, "Hello, ma'am. How are you doing?"
The cat,
To the person.
To the person. Okay, the cat meows, and she says, "Well, I've certainly been better. My book was stolen, and I wish to see it returned safely. I'm happy to provide
we
whatever
heard about
information. Yes, I'm happy to provide whatever information you might need, whatever might be helpful, but I'm hoping you're able to return it rather swiftly."
While she is talking to Josh, is there any way for me to just like real subtly cast detect magic without her noticing and catch a vibe?
Go ahead. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I just wanna see what's up. I think Auntie is just a little more inherently suspicious of anyone kind of in the same field that she's in, like, which says a lot about her opinion of her own trustworthiness.
Mhm.
But so I think she just wants to get the little detect magic going, see what the deal is, kind of size this person up.
I'm sorry, detect. Is there a roll for there's no roll for detect magic, right?
Nope.
Yeah, cool.
I just sense the presence of magic within
Perfect.
30 feet of me. If I sense it, I can see a faint aura around any visible creature or object that bears magic, and I learn the school of magic, if any.
Awesome. Cool. So you reach out and you feel a very potent kind of residual magic that is in the area. Likely wards throughout the building. You feel a particularly intense bit of residual magic kind of on this display case. The display case itself is empty, and you guess that this is probably where the book was, where it was stolen from. But yeah, so you feel very potent magic, residual magic from the display case, and just around the room in general. As a result,
Does
of
the
wards.
residue feel like it's like from the book that's gone now?
No, it does not. It feels like wards. So like traps that have been set up to try to protect the book, like holding spells to try to keep it in place. Just very, very like, it seems like it was a very magically secured room.
I have a question for the DM.
Yes.
Do cats have a swimming speed?
I don't think officially they do.
Dang it. Never mind.
I'm concerned.
No,
Well,
you want to talk to him.
Josh has friend of the sea as a racial
Oh.
feature, so he can communicate with any beast that has a swimming speed.
That's funny.
Cats can potentially swim, so I thought there was a chance.
Not speed.
I thought you were just gonna throw it
That's
in
what
like
I
a bucket of
thought,
water.
too.
That's what I was like.
No, I would never. I guess you just did detect magic. You didn't do like a perception check.
I did
Okay,
not.
I guess I'll do that.
Okay, give me a perception check.
23.
Okay, you notice Auntie kind of feeling around, or you notice her kind of like almost imperceptibly closing her eyes to try to get a feel for the magic in the room is what you're discerning. You start taking a look around yourself, and you see that Auntie kind of like homes in on the display case itself. You take a look at this display case. You start walking up toward it. You can see that the display case is beautiful. You start looking at it a little more closely, and you can see that there are runes that were etched on the side of each pane of glass, very, very subtly. It's almost imperceptible. You wouldn't be able to notice it if you weren't looking for it. As you're looking, you notice that one of the runes has been subtly marred. You notice that, or I guess with your kind of like general knowledge, even that you would know that this imperfection in this rune would make it so that the display case's protective enchantments would no longer work. Why don't you also give me an Arcana check, please, while you're looking at this?
14.
Okay. With a 14, as you're looking closely at this marred rune, you can see that it was deliberately disturbed, and it completely defeated the case's protective enchantments. You notice, though, that it is incredibly subtly disturbed. This was clearly the work of a professional.
I would like to ask the what's her name? Aya. If I would like to point it out to her and ask, did you notice it?
She walks over. She takes a closer look. Oh, I can't say that I did notice this. No wonder they were able to get through. Oh, that's quite quite infuriating. It's if you'll excuse me. She turns around and you can see she's just kind of like shaking with rage at having seen this imperfection put into
Can
the
I do
runes.
insight to see if this is a real reaction?
Totally, yeah.
20.
Okay, with a 20.
Unnatural.
With a 20, what you gather is that this is a totally legitimate reaction. She is, in fact, you hear her kind of like muttering under her breath, I can't believe someone would outsmart me and my magics. I'm supposed to be the excellent individual with, I'm supposed to be the best at magics. I can't believe that this happened. So she's like legitimately upset. On top of that, though, with the 20, you notice that she's giving off signs of fear. You're not sure why, but the fact that this enchantment was broken, and that the book's gone, just in general, is really, really eating at her, causing her a lot of fear for some reason.
I would like to like go comfort her and like put my arm around her.
Oh,
Uh,
excuse me. Sorry. Yes, I just it's just been a very eventful several days, I think.
Don't worry, we will find the book, and it's not your fault that it's gone.
You see, but it is. I had sorry. I had assured the Lord Sage that I earned his trust by telling him that I would put up enchantments all throughout this room, specifically centered around the display case as well, to keep this book safe in particular, but to be completely honest, all of the books in this room. You see, I had to work very, very hard to get the Lord Sage to trust me. This is not the only book in my possession that has been checked out by the library. I have tons of books that have been checked out from the library and that I have kept in my possession well long after the due dates, only because I assured the Lord Sage that I would keep them safe, that I would keep these books protected. I'm certain now that if he finds out that the book was taken because I was bested by someone who was able to bypass one of my enchantments, he's going to require that I return all of these books, which will completely cut into my ability to study, to teach.
Well,
this
let's
is just
not
a disaster.
get, ahead of ourselves. Did anyone else know that you had this book?
Well, I can't say that I do. It's been in my study for 2 years before it was taken. It could have been the case that maybe someone saw it. But I don't know. It's I didn't go around flaunting the fact that I had it. I had it in the display case, but I don't know.
Yeah.
No one.
Well,
yeah.
do you know anyone who has the capability to so deceptively alter your room?
Not personally, no. I can come off as rather, I don't know. I'll admit that I have an ego. I can't say that I have any enemies in town, though. Anyone who would wish harm on me or my reputation. I'm well respected.
Auntie snorts at that and reaches out a little withered hand and uses Mage Hand to kind of lift her, this woman's head so that she's looking her right in the eyes and say, I think it's about time we all cut the crap. These were very powerful wards and abjurations, and even though they were very easily broken, that's not to say that they were not powerfully cast. You put a lot of magic into protecting something that you claim to have no idea who would want it.
Well, I can assure you that I don't know who took it, but whoever did take it is someone very skilled, very interested in magics and the weave. I should say that I wasn't entirely honest when I said that the book was the only thing stolen. I'm also missing a couple of personal possessions as well. A horn of blasting and 3 spell scrolls. The scrolls contained detect magic, fireball, and hold person. Whoever took this book and these items, again, I don't know who, they're very skilled magic users.
Do you have other spell books, scrolls stored where those ones were?
No. No, this book was the only book in the display case. These other items were just throughout my personal belongings in my office.
No, yes, I understand that. I mean to say there may be some significance to which specific scrolls were taken, and if
Oh.
you have others lying around that were not taken, then that would lead us to believe that the ones that were taken were done so with a very clear purpose in mind.
No, I can't say that I have any understanding of the rhyme or reason for why they took those spell scrolls.
You said it was detect magic, fireball, and what else?
Hold person.
Hold person. Personal favorite, and I have to say, you're a poor wizard if you can't think of a good combination for those 3 spells in tandem. Smells like trouble.
She's like a little confused, and she said, was that an insult to me? Personally?
No, dear, don't you worry about it. You just sit there, think your sad thoughts about all the bad things that are gonna befall you. We'll get this sorted out.
She is very perturbed with sweet auntie here.
Good.
she-
Can I do an insight check
Yeah,
real quick?
yes.
Can I do it with advantage because I made her really perturbed?
Sure. What are you looking for?
I specifically, damn, okay, that's an 8. And that's a 22. On a 22, I'm just trying to, like, I want to know, like, if there's anything it feels like she's holding back, specifically with regards to, like, who might have had the motive to do it, or, like, anything else from the crime scene. And I would just love to, like, catch a vibe. She's feels like I'm getting a lot of, like, conflicting reads on her.
Okay, what you can gather with a 20, whatever it was, more than a 20.
22.
Yeah, what you can gather is that she is trying to relay as best she can the truth. Now that she has put everything out in the open, what you can gather as being truthfully conveyed to you is that she doesn't have much information as to who personally took the book. She's heard rumors that it was this other scribe who was hired at the library, but she doesn't know that for sure. She is very, very afraid that her collection is going to be taken back by the library, and that's really her main concern right now. Obviously, she wants the book back because it's very valuable, very important, but she's much more worried about the implications of this theft, despite all of the security that she put forward.
Hungry, money-grubbing city wizard just trying to climb their way up into tenure. Well, I think I'm done here. Let's go, Joshua.
Okay, Auntie.
And I just wanna, on the way out, I just wanna do, like, a little prestidigitate, a little mage hand, and, like, knock something over. I just wanna, I would like to sun this wizard. I would like to flex a little bit on them.
You hear her yell back, "Was that completely necessary?" And the door shuts. Okay, what are you and Josh doing?
I guess we're meeting back up with Bug.
Cool.
Yes, did Mavis have any luck finding Bug?
Yeah. Mavis found Bug, and Tim, kind of like corralled them both to, corralled Tim to the Laughing Goblin, where Bug was found. You start heading that way, I assume?
Let's go get a drink. I
Cool.
wonder if they make good moonshine.
You make your way towards the Laughing Goblin. You can see that it is, again, very busy again, as always. Inside, you can see the bartender there, whose name is
Imazel.
Imazel, thank you. Yes. She
And
sees
Fat Mer.
and Fatmar. Yes.
Mar.
The two of you, or the two of them, see you two walk in, and Imazel says, so good to see you again, my loves. Your friends are. Oh, I'm not sure I recognize this one actually. What is your name?
Don't worry about it.
Oh,
This is
Now
Auntie.
just start stepping into the crowd.
okay, thank you, charmed. My name is Imazel. Don't worry about asking though. At any rate, your friends are over there. They're sitting at one of the tables. They've got an ale all ready for you. Where's the other fellow?
He died.
Oh, heavens! Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Well,
He was being kind of impulsive.
Oh, okay,
It'd be like that sometimes.
okay. Tell you what. I'll give you some space, but here's a couple drinks on the house. Take the time you need. I'll be here if you need anything, but your friends are over there.
Okay.
You take the ales and you walk off. What do you do as you arrive with Bug and Tim?
So, we've
Bug-
got to go to this place called Phileo Keep.
What did Bug say?
But Bug is sloshed. Bug is
Great.
he's been drinking. So he kind of lifts up his head and looks at you with like kind of slightly bloodshot eyes and goes, well, you got better information than I did. I just met a fancy house full of hot air rich guy.
That sounds bad.
What? So
I'm sorry
what's
you had
up
a
with?
bad time, dear.
He like gets a little bit emotional as you said that, but he's like, so what's up with Phileo Keep?
There's something about a pool. You remember we were going to, right. So we were going to get the info about the man. He's like the big historical figure of the town. Very important. Whatever, I don't care. But he had this house, or he went to this house, or he was adventuring at this house. There's something about his story was about this ancient dragon, bronze dragon? Some kind of dragon who used to rule Flan. And then something happened, I don't remember, and he turned instead into a pool of radiance, which it is said lies beneath Phileo Keep, which is somewhere in the northwest side of town. And yes, we need to go there. Secrets.
Tim pipes up and he says, I think we're supposed to bring the information back to the Lord Sage first."
Why? Why? Who? They couldn't figure it out. They already had all this information. They could have asked anybody.
I guess we should tell the library folks about it, but I don't know what they're gonna do.
Well, maybe they can give us some more information about the place we're going to. Keep us prepared.
Ugh. Fine, Josh.
Are you mad at me?
I'm not mad at anyone, but the unfairness of the universe.
Okay.
Life and death are very complicated topics. They evoke deep feelings in people. Luckily, sometimes you can bring them back from the dead anyways. So, it doesn't really sounds like it's maybe too late for that in this situation, but always an option in the future.
What
That's
may-
a weird
maybe-
thing to say. Getting hot in here.
Is it like nighttime?
At this point, it's probably like early evening. Not like dead of night. It's probably like 7 p.m. at this point.
Would we have time to like? I mean, I know we don't have time during this session, but would we have time in the day to go back to the library, or would they not be kind of available?
I mean, they're probably. So, given the fact that you have been charged with assessing this situation and investigating the situation, A, there's probably still people there who's conducting the investigation, and B, even if the library were closed, you would be allowed in to provide whatever information you had.
Okay, I think we should just plan to like go there. Maybe sober Bug up a little first.
Let's get him a little sober and me a little less, and then we can go talk to that pompous windbag of a master of secrets or whatever his name was. I don't know, stupid old wizard.
You spend.
Auntie,
Go ahead. Yeah.
you're kind of mean.
What? I'm just saying. I'm living out there in the woods, doing everything for myself, and I steal in one day, like not even a full day, a couple of hours. In a couple of hours in here, I think we figured out so much more than he did with all of his books and all of his resources and all of his money and all of his titles. So, like, forgive me if I'm not that impressed.
Fair.
Fight the establishment.
You got that right. I'm gonna cheers to that and like down some more ale.
Cheers to that.
Can we get 2 waters?
Imazio brings 2 waters, sets them down, and so are you spending a little more time at the tavern then?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, I think I could do with a nice rest.
Cool. All right. So you spend about another hour or so at the tavern, just kind of like nursing your drinks, considering all the information you've obtained so far, figuring out what your next steps are, and that's where we're going to end tonight's session, team. Awesome. To everyone on stream watching, thank you so much for hanging out. We will see you next week at about 4 p.m. To continue with the next session. In the meantime, I hope you all have a great week, and we'll see you next weekend. Bye.
Bye.